Hi everyone, Merry Christmas everyone. I hope you're all okay, safe. So Merry Christmas everyone, and welcome back to another movie review which I'm doing today. And now it's going to be Hard Rain, another Christian Slater movie that I love to death, and I really do want to talk about this film for a while now. I reviewed Broken Arrow, and like I said, Broken Arrow is my personal favorite action movie of all time. It's a kick-ass action movie, and I'm a huge fan of Christian Slater, and I really do love Hard Rain. I mean, it's another kick-ass action film, underrated as fuck, which is a disaster. It's a disaster action thriller, and why I don't understand the hate, why this movie gets such a shit on it. I mean, I don't get it. I'm a huge fan of Hard Rain. I love Hard Rain. I mean, a wild, thrilling, chilling action ride, which I agree, you know. And you have, in this movie, you have Morgan Freeman and Christian Slater, and of course, written by Graham Yost, who did Broken Arrow, you know. Be right back, you know. I do have the Broken Arrow, you know, here, who also wrote, you know, the Broken Arrow, who also wrote, Graham Yost did the screenplay from Broken Arrow, and you can see I have Broken Arrow poster. Maybe one day I'm gonna get poster for Hard Rain, you know, but I love this movie to death. It's my favorite movie. It's a phenomenal action film. It's my personal favorite action movie. With Die Cut the Vengeance and with Rambo First Part 2. I love this movie. Such a kick-ass, badass action film from Christian Slater. This is my hero, my badass, my action hero. And I love Broken Arrow to death. Love Broken Arrow. Love to death. This is the best of the best, in my opinion, kick-ass action film. That's just me, you know. Just gonna put it back. Like I said, huge fan of Broken Arrow. Love Broken Arrow to death. And Graham Yost did wrote the description, the screenplay for this movie, directed by Michael Solomon. At one point, John Woo has been attached to direct this film, but he passed the project because he went to do Face Off. So Michael Solomon jumped in him, and of course, Michael Solomon did a great job directing. Michael Solomon, I apologize, Michael Solomon, he jumped for the direction this movie, and I love this movie to death. I mean, Hard Rain is a badass. It's actually a kick-ass action film from the 90s, underrated. I don't understand why this classic gets shit on it, or Broken Arrow gets shit on it, you know. I don't get it. I still don't get it. What Van Damme has that Christian Slater doesn't, you know. Because I'm a huge fan of Christian Slater. I definitely love this movie to death. Probably number 3 will be Cops, and then will be Hard Cash, another underrated movie he did that gets shit on it. And probably will be Cops number 4. Then probably cleaning the Cube. But Hard Rain, I want to talk about it, why I enjoy Christian Slater so much. I love his character, I love him so much. The music has been done by Christopher Young. I forgot the actor's name, the composer, I didn't wrote down the composer who they want to hire the composer to do for this music score, but they couldn't afford him, I forgot, but Christopher Young's music score, especially the opening scene, is such a badass, beautiful music score. I mean, it's so beautiful, you know, it's such an epic, it's so beautiful. I mean, Broken Arrow, in my opinion, and Hard Rain are definitely the most epic action films. I love that it's actually, it used to be, the previous has been titled The Flute, but originally has been titled The Flute, but it's changed because filmmakers didn't want audience to assume it's a disaster film. But it is a disaster film. It's actually an action disaster heist thriller. You know, it's a heist. You know, and it's all, you know, this is a badass. Christian Slater as a badass. You know, and why I love this movie, which I have to talk about it. You know, because I'm probably gonna be this is probably gonna be a long review because he deserves it. You know, because I love Hard Rain. You know. The Blu-ray, but why this movie gets such a shit on it, you know? I mean, Twister has much better praise, and even Dante's Peak with Pierce Brosnan has actually better praise. And why not Hard Rain? Hard Rain gets 5.9 on IMDb, while Twister is higher. Why? You know, Hard Rain is a kick-ass action film, not for everyone. It is my favorite movie ever. And yeah, it was originally called The Flute, and this movie is supposed to be there was a teaser trailer which appeared in 2nd May 1997, but they did a delay. You know, I think there was this problems with Twister and Dante's Peak, you know, because they had to wait, so it was delayed until January 1998 has been this movie released, you know. I don't know, but I think I read it somewhere that Graham Yost wrote this screenplay first before he did The Broken Arrow, but I think later he did but later after Broken Arrow, you know, he did this movie Hard Rain, which also Christian Slater produced this film. I forgot to mention he produced this film. At one point, Morgan Freeman hates this film. He said, "If you didn't see the film, do yourself a favor and don't." You know, I don't agree with you, Morgan Freeman. I'm sorry, but I love this movie more than you. I love this movie to death. So it deserves to be a cult classic. Why Broken Arrow or Hard Rain doesn't get a cult following, you know, or Roadhouse, you know, why those movies doesn't get a cult following, you know, barely talk someone about Hard Rain, you know. But yeah, I love Hard Rain to death. What was more, the budget for this movie was $70 million, but only made worldwide $19 million, which was a box office flop. Yeah, and of course, right after this movie has been released in LA premiere, you know, Christian Slater, you know, he reported to Ventura County Jail, City Jail, to begin his 19-day prison for drug offenses, assault and battery. He was released after 57 days and enrolled in anti-addiction program immediately. You know, at least Christian Slater, you know, he reported himself to the cops, you know, after whatever his problems had at the time, you know. At least he went in the drug at least he admitted his mistakes, and he went to that program, you know, to addiction program, while Van Damme did not do that. He was on drugs, on cocaine, and he did not do that. You know, he's still on cocaine. Van Damme is still on cocaine. You know, he was caught with the cocaine again, you know. His cocaine addiction are completely destroying the actor. He did nothing but just self-harming himself. At least Christian Slater, you know, reported himself, you know, while Jean-Claude Van Damme did not do that, you know. He fucked up Street Fighter. Because of him, I lost money, you know. Yeah, I spent my mom's money on his goddamn god-awful piece of shit movie, you know. Street Fighter, fuck that piece of garbage film. I would rather watch this movie, which I never spent money on it, you know. So yes, Hard Rain is a badass, is a kick-ass action film, and I don't get it, you know. And also Minnie Driver said it was unpleasant because of the weather. It was actually underwater, the disaster, you know. Yes, but in my opinion, I don't see it CGI. It was all practical done, you know. I mean, the budget was $70 million, making the city under the water, you know, the church or the town, you know, the Huntingburg town. It was filmed in Huntingburg, Indiana, you know. It's been filmed there in Huntingburg, Indiana. It's been filmed there, you know. One scenes are actually filmed. They were actually filmed. I think they were filmed in Canada, and one was in California. I don't remember where I wrote down. It was ATV, okay, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. One scene was in Palmdale, California. But I think the scenes that you saw were filmed in Huntingburg, you know, Indiana. And that cemetery that you saw, and I think that was in Cemetery Scene. And of course, the church, you know, and the jail, you know, and it just, I don't know why this movie gets so much hate. It's such a phenomenal action film. I mean, and the movie talks about Tom, played by Christian Slater. You know, he's an armored car driver. You know, he's an armored car driver, and he's transporting $3 million out of the city. You know, which is his job. But he and his Uncle Charlie, played by Edward Asner, you know, they fall into an ambush. You know, a group of thieves played, and of course lead by Morgan Freeman, who played Jim, and his man. I'll try to find his man. Ray, played by Ricky Harris, Ray, and the other one was Mr. Mechler, who was a school teacher, professor, you know, played by Dan Florek, and of course Michael Gurijan, who plays Kenny. You know, they plan to rob the armored car and steal $3 million. And because Tom doesn't let them, you know, Kenny fires shots with a sniper rifle. He goes and shots and kills. He goes and kills Uncle Charlie, you know, in the neck. You see all bloody. And of course, Tom, played by Christian Slater, he grabs his gun, Smith & Wesson Model 66, and fires back. He hits the lights in the car, you know. But because his father and his uncle is now dead, he grabs the money and he flees to the cemetery and hides the money under the stone, he hides the money under the forgot the tombstone, under the tombstone, $3 million, you know. Then he's hiding, you know. And I love the scene, you know, when they are going and they are hunting down now Tom, you know, and they go in the school, they steal those boats, those scooter boats, you know, they steal the boats. And they go in they actually go in the school, and this guy Kenny, he goes after him, you know. And of course Christian says, watch where you step. The guy hits himself, falls down in the trophies. The wreck, he falls down in the wardrobe, and the trophies, boom, he fall down, you know. Then Tom goes with Kenny's head, and his jet ski tries to escape, you know. But they find out, but this guy Ray says, that's good. They go after him. Of course, Tom escapes. He goes in the church, and he's been hit with a cross, and he says, now I'm gonna see pork on my Jesus. Oh my God, he's been hit with the cross by Karen, played by Minnie Driver. You know, she hit him with a cross, and he's in the jail now. And he wasn't a looter. He said that he was trying, you know, that he was escaping by his pursuers, who are trying to steal $3 million because he's armored car driver, you know, and they killed his partner. and they try to kill him, you know, and because he hid, you know, he did hide the money under in the cemetery and the tombstone, the tombstone porter, I think it was Portman or Porter, and while Jim and his gang are in the school, try to find where he where he hid the money, you know, and they couldn't find it. They go with the boat, you know. They go with the boat. You see all the flute, all the water, you know, all the flute, and of course, Sheriff and his men, Wayne and Phil. Wayne Bryce by Mark Rolston, and his man Trooper, you know, Phil, played by Peter Murnick. They go outside to try to find those men who try to kill Tom, you know, and while Tom he's in a jail, you know, there's a huge flute, and he wakes up himself in the flute, you know, and I love that scene. He tries to escape. He uses then he uses a flashlight, throws everything the flashlights, you know, tries to survive, you know, to be alive. And Karen, she goes back to the church to save her church. Then she goes back, you know, in the jail, and she saves Tom, you know, she saved him, which I love that, you know. I love that scene. I love the music score by Christopher Young. He did for Uninvited, for Hellraiser. I mean, Christopher Young's music score is epic in my opinion, you know. She saves him, and of course, now once again, Jim and his men are trying to catch Tom, and he's hiding the car with Karen, and I kind of forgot what was next. Kenny is go after Tom, and I love Tom so much. I love Christian Slater's character, you know. Tom goes after him, but they both fall in the water, and there's electricity, you know. There's the wires and electricity, and of course Tom, you know, he tries to and of course Karen says, get out of the water, you know, because it was with cables, electricity cables. They're both gonna be electrocuted if they don't go out of the water, you know. And of course they both go swim, and Tom climbs to Karen, and he's honest. He says, give me the money, give me your hand. You're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna die. You know, you're gonna die. And poor Kenny, he gets electrocuted because he was stupid and he did not listen to Tom. He tried to save him. You know, how many times you see in a movie that the hero tries to save a bad guy? How many times? You know, he tried to save the bad guy, but Kenny did not listen to him, and poor kid, he passed away. He died. You know. Yeah, and because Jim was responsible for him, he promised his parents he's gonna take care of him, his dad, but he couldn't, you know. And but at least he tried, you know. He tried to save them, and I love that, you know. There's also this old couple. They go to this house, played by Betty White and Richard Eisert, you know, Henry and Doreen. Which I love that, you know, when Sheriff's pissed on this major, this mayor of the city, you know, he's pissed and says, we're gonna protect the town. And of course, Doreen says, you're gonna arrest us, Sheriff? We are putting all the traps, you know. In 1975 already happened that. I love that, you know. Doreen's so annoyed in this movie. Oh my god. And of course Tom, he tries to go outside, you know. He tries to go outside because he's waiting for the cavalry, you know, to show up, you know. For the money, try to steal them, you know, because his uncle supposed to call the National Guard, you know. So he goes out with a boat, and Henry gives in a boat and says, Tom, you want to come with me? Of course not, you know. While he's waiting for the guards, you know, Jim find Tom. He goes and kidnaps the old couple and brings them to Tom and says, we're gonna kill them if you're not telling us where the money is. And of course Tom then, out of his good heart, he says, okay, I'll tell you where the money is. I'll let you to them if you let them go, you know. And that's what he does, you know. And Jim lets them go, and of course then Florek Mr. Mechlor says, thank God, you know, and the boat goes, and Betty White keeps complaining about it, and Henry, he has enough, he goes back, and she says, what are you doing? I'm going back to see if they shoot you or me, you just fired to me. And she goes, Henry, and he says, do you want me to get us out of here? Yes, of course. Then shut the fuck up. Then shut the fuck up. I love that. Shut the fuck up, you know. And he goes headless away. I love that in this movie, you know. I love this movie. Such a badass movie, man. I love this movie, you know. And of course they go now to cemetery to find under the Portman, you know, under Portman tombstone. And of course this guy races, can we just get the money, get the fuck out of here? And so Tom goes to the bags to find the money, you know, and someone beat them. You know, he tells that someone beat us, you know, and this guy, he says someone beat us, and then we see Sheriff, who's supposed to be a good guy, played by Randy Quaid. We see that twist, which I love that twist, you know, he's now a bad guy, you know, and he goes and starts shooting at them, you know, and he shows the badge and says shooting, and he calls his friend, his friend who works on that pumps, you know, what's this guy's name? Forgot this guy's name. Hank, played by Wayne Duvall. He goes and deputizes and calls him, you know, which Hank shows up, you know, they start firing at him, you know, they start firing at them, they kill them, throw right in the eyes, you know, the guy feels been killed too, he's all blood, you know, now Jim and Tom are together, and they're in the boat, you know, and to see Tom, like a pure badass he is, fires back, you know, I mean, he goes and fires back, you know, with the guns at them, and of course there's Karen, you know, and of course then Wayne punches her with his shotgun Mossberg, he goes and punches her with Mossberg 590, you know, he punches her and she falls down in the water, you know, she's unconscious. And they keep starting firing, you know, and of course the sheriff says, I'm gonna fire, we're gonna keep the money, you know, they still stole the money, they're gonna keep it, they keep starting firing at them, you know, and says 750 everyone a piece, you know, they keep starting firing at them, you know, and now Tom and Jim are now have to fight each other, and this is a scene that I love, you know. We see Tom with two guns, you know. He used two guns, you know. I think the other one was pistol 6-hour, which was used by Morgan Freeman, you know. That was the that actually was, you know, that actually was the gun that he was using, and of course Smith and Wesson, I think was no, actually was revolver Arminus, you know. He used a revolver Arminus, you know, HW9ST, you know, revolver Minus, and of course the pistol, and was firing the bad guys. They go to the church, and we're now there in the church, you know, and there's the sheriff with his man, you know, sheriff calls his man, turns a fire with bottles and gasoline. He torches them, fires them, he torches the church while Wayne takes Karen in her house and tries to rape her. She wakes up, she grabs a gun, you know, she shot him in self-defense, but she's handcuffed to the stairs, you know, and Tom wants to find out where the Karen is, you know. In the church there's a showdown, you know, and of course Fall goes, you know, of course Phil tells him where the girl is, you know. So Tom goes back to save her, you know. And I love that when Shere Khan says, you know, take me together, only a few bags, and I'll tell you where it is. And Jim says, no. And Tom says, how you mean no? I came here with the money, that's it. No. How you mean no? I came here with the money, that's it. No. I love that, you know. And Phil tells him, you know, and I forgot to mention, you know, this guy, Wayne, badass, you know, he says, shoot them, and of course, Phil refuses because he's a good guy, no, he aims at Tom, but doesn't fire, and he doesn't want to shoot, you know, and then Phil goes, doof, 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 fires him, and says, spits, and says, pussy. I love that, you know, I love that scene, you know. And then, of course, Jim fights off Sheriff Collins while of course, Tom is fighting off Wayne, you know, and there's a huge flute coming out, you know, which is a badass. You know, there's a huge flute coming out, which is a badass in my opinion, you know, it's a badass, you know, and of course now, Tom goes now and tries to save the girl, you know, tries to save Karen. She's handcuffed to the porch, you know, and he tries to save her with the saw, but the saw breaks. He grabs Wayne's gun, you know, and fires the chains, you know, and he saves her in this movie, you know. And Sheriff Collins tries to kill them non-stop, you know. And there's another scene with the rifle, which the girl, Karen, when Sheriff grabs a gun, you know, he actually also fires. You know, he goes and fires a Jim with his can find that weapon, you know, he uses I think was 38 special, you know, he uses 38 special, I think was Smith & Wesson Model 60, you know, which he used it, you know, yeah, it was Smith & Wesson 60 38 special, you know, he used and shot Jim, and he goes after, you know, Jim, you know, he uses a gun, you know, he goes after Karen and Tom because he wants to get the money, and in the boat, and there's a fight, you know, and Jim goes with a fast boat, you know, and he jumps, you know, and he spoils the plan of Sheriff Collins because he was trying to kill Karen and Tom because they were witnesses. He said they're witnesses, and I love that scene in which Sheriff Collins, you know, gets boat motor engine in the fucking head, you know. Yes, boat motor engine he got in the fucking head, you know. But the guy somehow survived and tried to steal a bag, you know, and he grabbed his 38 special, Karen tries to shoot him with a sniper rifle, but it's empty, you know, and of course then Sheriff tries to shoot her with his small gun, but unaware, you know, he tried to shoot her with a small gun, but unaware, he tried to shoot her, and that time Jim and of course Tom fires at Sheriff Collins and kills him, you know. They go and fire Sheriff Collins and they kills him. They kills him to death, you know. And of course now Tom lets him go, says get out of here, and he goes. But Jim steals a bag of money, definitely $750,000 definitely stole, you know. But he stole the money, but the rest of the money Tom kept because he said he's gonna return it. He stays with Karen. The National Guardsmen, the police now shows up, you know, and they're both like this, you know, surrendered, you know, and the movie then ends with the music. Sally, I don't know the music score, but I love for Christopher Young's music score, you know. And for Morgan Freeman, they wanted they did a test audience, which Morgan Freeman's character Jim is a bad guy, and he dies. He dies. But that was negative. That was actually taken by from test audience negative. They demanded that his character survives and gets the money, and that actually was, so Morgan Freeman does not die in this movie. He gets the money, and of course he gets freedom. He survives, and that's great. Like, why can't they make these movies like anymore? Those art movies like hard ran anymore. I love the fact that it's actually the set in the flute. We have boat chases, we have a little explosion, we have an explosion, we have boat chases, we have shootouts in this movie. Yes, there are 8 people killed, but so what? There are 8 deaths, but we have a flute, we have a couple. Also, Henry Doreen did survive, because she said, "I'm sorry, I am you're only a god." And he wakes up. Henry says, "Next time I say we evacuate, we evacuate." And she said, "Whatever you say, honey." I love that. Why can't we get movies like this anymore? I mean, I love this movie incredible to that. Do I think it's the best of the best? No, but it's a decent, it's a underrated, it's a decent, it's a solid. Why it's like Twister better gets praised, but not Hard Rain. Hard Rain has action, shootouts, boat chases. We have boat chases. Some kids been killed by electricity. He's been electrocuted. And yeah, why we don't get, or Thomas underwater tries to struggle himself, and Karen saves him. She uses that Swiss knife, and she goes and opens those screwdrivers, or she goes and uses the Swiss knives to take those drivers, those screwdrivers away. She tries to use it on the forge when she's handcuffed. She goes and actually forgot to mention, Karen did not shot Wayne. She stabbed him with a Swiss knife. I forgot now. No, she didn't shot him. She uses a knife, and the guy tried to rape her, and then he tried to kill her, and she stabbed in the neck, and the guy was firing the gun, and then he fall down dead. She stabbed him in the neck with a Swiss knife. So I apologize when I said she shot him. No, he tried to rape her, and she stabbed him in the neck. That's how the guy fall down and he died. That's how it was. But I love this movie. I mean, I think it's a kick-ass. I love the story that they are stealing $3 million while there's a huge flute around. It's all practical effect. They spent $70 million for making the flute, for making all the flutes happen, and there's not that much cast in the film. There's not that much cast in the film. There's still stunt doubles, but not much, But $70 million was very expensive to do those kind of movie, And Christian Slater did the best job ever. He did a great job. His best character. Riley is still my favorite character he did, but Tom definitely will be my second favorite character he did. This is my second favorite Christian Slater movie, which I love to death. Great performance by Morgan Freeman. Great performance by Minnie Driver. Yes, I love Minnie Driver in this movie. I love her performance. Great performance by Randy Quaid. I did not expect the twist that he's a bad guy. I did not expect the twist that he's a bad guy. But why? But I love that he was also in this movie with Jason Doherty. I think the car, he was also the bad guy there. He was the bad guy in Long Raiders. He played the bad guy in Long Raiders. So Randy Quaid did a fine, great job in playing all the bad guys, the villains. He's such a great character, And I'll definitely say Hard Rain is a phenomenal action film. Underrated, underwater classic. It's underrated, does not get shit. I mean, I don't get why this movie gets shit. 5.9 on IMDb, I don't think so. That just, I don't get the shit this movie gets, you know. I don't get the shit. Why this movie has to get so many shit? What's wrong with this movie, you know? What is wrong with this movie? You have a heist, you have an action thriller. I love the boat chases, you know. I love when Kenny goes after Tom, but he gets stuck and he falls in the he falls in those trophies. I love that, you know, when Tom says watch your step while he's hunting Tom, you know, and Tom tries to escape with a jet ski. I mean, what's wrong with that, you know? They have a boat chases. There's a fight. There's a gunfights in the cemetery. There's also the gunfights in the church. The cemetery. This is actually the cemetery. I love this scene. It's a cemetery. You know, Christian Slater been all wet. You know, I don't think so that Van Damme would ever even come near to do that kind of movie underwater. Even Seagal could not do that, you know. I don't think none of those action stars could do those stunts like Morgan Freeman and Christian Slater did, you know. Great direction by Michael Salomon. He did a great direction, underrated director in my opinion. Graham Yost, once again, for Broken Arrow, he did also the screenplay for this movie. And I really do love a wild, thrilling, chilling action ride. You know, I agree, you know, with Mike Ciduton, ABC TV. I agree with him, you know. And also, you know, the flus, the loyalties, you know. I love that Tom goes after Karen, you know, the girl who helped him out, you know. He's a decent character, you know. I just love this movie, man. I love this movie, you know. It's just a phenomenal movie of all time, you know. Yeah, it's a great direction. I love the flutes, you know. It's all practical done, no CGI. If there will be CGI, I think this movie will be $35 million, but it was $70 million, you know. CGI could not do like that, you know, no. But yeah, that's my movie review on Hard Rain, 1998. My second favorite Christian Slater film, and one of my personal favorite action films, definitely top 20. I really did enjoy this movie, love Hard Rain to death. Take care, have a great Christmas. I'll talk to you next time, and have a great holiday, and have a good day. Take care, and see you next time. Ciao.